Good. About going back, in economies, we have a lot of, what I mean, beautiful discussions about that. That's solidary economics, that's buen vivir. There are a lot of theories right now that are really talking about, okay, we have our organization and we don't need money, but we don't need to have the relationships that we now have with the money.
Right.
You live in a poor area, as you said, so you have a small town right here. That's Yotatiro.
Right. I have a small town nearby.
And the biggest Ronga.
Aronga is a little bit bigger, yeah.
So how is your relationship with these two towns? And I mean, relationships personally, but how is your money relationship with them?
I think it's fantastic. This is a very poor area. It's a poor state. And there's no work around here. Mm-hmm. So I was shy at first. I didn't speak Spanish. And I don't come in as a person saying, hey, I have this solution. Everyone here should do this. I don't like that kind of thing. It's a bad attitude. So I was slow in my relationships. I hired people, and that was one way to have connection with people. Probably the best way. Because then they see how I'm doing things here, and they learn about caring for seeds, and they learn about things I can know about. I can look things up on the internet. They didn't have internet access before, and most of them don't now. So I can bring in ideas and tools, and then they can learn from that. They've also had the experience of being exposed to a lot of international people, and that's been at least interesting for them culturally. Because, you know, they live in a town where there's not a lot of foreigners coming through. There's none, pretty much. So the relationship has grown over time. I brought money into the system. You know, I spent a lot of money at the hardware store. I really love these towns. I got completely lucky with Aronga. Aronga is an awesome town. It is the best little town that I know of. And I'm accepted. There's been foreigners there for a long time, so there's not a big cultural conflict because I'm an outsider. That's wonderful. It's got just enough stuff and not much more. There's cheap fruits and vegetables. I have a lot of acquaintances and not a lot of deep friends. I am culturally different. There is a communication gap. So, you know, I get invited to people's houses sometimes, and I go eat with them and things like that. But I don't actually have a lot of deep relationships. Partly that came from being a hermit for so long that I think, became less socially skilled. I'm quite shy in a lot of ways. So everybody knows my name, and they also see the videos of what I do in my life. So it's a little bit weird. I'm semi-famous because when I go to town, people can ask me, you know, about like something I'm doing. Like, I saw you doing that. And it's like, how do you know that? Oh yeah, I'm publishing my life.
Oh, my life's on the internet. Yes.
Yeah, my life's on the internet. Okay. Which is a little disconcerting, but also that comes also as a product of being alone here, is that it's a way of reaching out socially to the world. And so I have a very strange social media life. And when I started doing that, nobody in these little towns had phones. And hardly anyone had a computer. Well, now, everybody's got a phone. So they can see my life.
Follow you, yeah.
There's another aspect of that that's very important. And that's the relationship between the participants that come here and these towns. And I feel very protective of these towns. The people I invite here, I don't know them, and they're not invested here. They're not invested in the people here. And so I want to make sure that their actions when they go to town are appropriate. Because they're coming from a very different economic system. And I don't want them to come and take advantage of people. I don't want them to disrupt families. And I have had some cases over the years where I've watched that happen. And I've learned that I have to set limitations on outsiders coming in, because one of my greatest risks is uncontrolled participants.
Okay.
It's a very strange position to be in, because I don't really want to be very authoritarian. But if the project is going to survive and have diverse people coming in, then I have to protect the project, myself, and the community by educating these people to act appropriately.